All right, this is practice packet lesson 2.6, converting between forms. We're in your practice packet on pages 10 and 11 for this one. So the first section works with converting fractions to decimals and terminating/repeating decimals. It asks you to first convert the fraction to a decimal. Is the decimal terminating or repeating? I'm going to go ahead and use the strategy that we're going to avoid long division if at all possible. So I am going to always work to either change the denominator to a 10 if I can, because then I'm talking about tenths, or to change the denominator to a 100 if I can. So this one I can really quickly change the denominator to a 10 by multiplying by 2. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 2, which will give me 6. So 6 tenths would be written as 0.6. So 6 tenths does terminate because that just ends right there. For 28 fifths here, I'm going to go ahead and actually rewrite this as a mixed number before I get started. 28 divided by 5 is 5, and there's 3 fifths remaining here. And then I am going to convert this fractional part to a 10 denominator, because that's pretty easy to do by multiplying by 2. So that's going to give me 6 tenths. So 5 and 6 tenths. That also terminates because it doesn't keep on going. In the next one, I'm going to go ahead and convert 13 tenths to a mixed number, and 13 divided by 10 is 1. 3 remaining, denominator stays 10. I'm already in 3 tenths, so 1 and 3 tenths is my decimal, and this is also terminating. The last one here, I have 5/33. I cannot easily change this into a 10 or a 100, so I am going to have to do long division. 5 divided by 33. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my decimal point a 0 because 33 cannot go into 5. 33 does go into 50 once. So that's going to be a 33. And 50 minus 33, borrow. 10 minus 3 is 7. 4 minus 3 is 1. 33 does not go into 17, so I need to carry down my 0 here. 33 into 170, that'll actually be 5 times. 5 times 30 is 150. 5 times 3 is 15, so that's 165, which will leave me with a remainder of 5. Bring down my next 0. 33 into 50 goes once. And if you already are noticing, this is exactly where we started. You're exactly right. So we're going to get a 17 here. Bring down our 0. That takes us to 170, which goes 5 times. And this is going to keep on going like this because we're going to end up having the same exact pattern of what we have right here. So what this means is we don't have to write that part, but we do need to put a bar over this. So we have 0 and 1500ths, but that repeats itself. So this one, I just covered it up a little bit with my work here, but this one is in fact a repeating decimal then. For the next section, you were talking about converting decimals to fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the decimal like you did in elementary school and then just write down the fraction and reduce it. So this first one, I have 0 and 24 hundredths. So I'm going to write it as 24 hundredths. And then I need to reduce. So my reducing is going to become 6 over 25 because I'm dividing them both by 4. In this one, I have 0 and 432 thousandths. So that's over 1,000. And if I look there, I'm going to actually just divide by 4 for the first one because I see this is a 432. That'll work. If you didn't realize that, you might have just divided by 2. If I divide by 4, I get 108 over 250, which are both still even. So I need to go one more time. And I end up with 54 over 125 then. Next one here, I have 2 and 8 tenths. So 2 and 8 tenths. I do need to reduce my 8 tenths, and that'll become 4 fifths then. In the last one, I have 0 and 3 tenths, and that is already reduced. Over on page number 11, we have the converting fraction to percents part. So keep in mind, percents compare numbers to 100. So if you can make the denominator 100, you already have your percent figured out. So looking at this first one, I can multiply by 4 and make my denominator to be 100. Multiplying the top by 4, I get 52. And then you just take the top number and put on your percent symbol. In the next one, my denominator can easily be made 100 by multiplying by 5. So on the top, I'll have 55 because 11 times 5 is 55. And that's 55% then. For the next one, 19/50ths, I can change this really easily to 100. Just times it by 2. So that's going to be 38. So this is 38%. 9/4, I can go ahead change to a denominator of 100 by multiplying by 25. If I do that on the top, that's going to give me 225. So again, take your top number and add your percent symbol then. Converting fractions to, or percents to fractions, just kind of flip-flops that. So you ditch the percent sign and you just simply put it over 100 then, because percents are always comparing to 100. This will reduce to 14/25. Take your percent sign, ditch it, and put it over 100. This will reduce down to 35/4. In the next one, 2 over 100 reduces to 1/50th. And the final one, this one's a little bit tricky. You could convert this to a decimal as well if you wanted to. I'll show you both ways. 8.5 over 100, you can't reduce, so you actually have to move this decimal point. So we're going to actually have to move this decimal point as well, which gives us 85 over 1,000, which you then reduce to 17 over 200. The other way that you could have done this is to take 8.5 and to move your decimal point 2 places back to the left. So you have 0.085, which would be 85 hundredths, which you would then still reduce to 17 over 200. So a couple different strategies on that last one there. For the next section, converting decimals to percent, remember decimal percent man. Decimals to percent, move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So 2 places to the right, 51%. 2 places to the right, 80%. 2 places to the right, 371%. 2 places to the right, 11.8%. The last part, percents to decimal. So remember to go backwards. You're moving back to the left 2 spots. Decimal points at the end, so this is 0.36. Decimal points at the end, 4.45. Decimal points at the end, 0.07. And decimal points right here, 0.006. That's the end of the practice packet for this lesson, which is 2.6, talking about the converting in all the different forms for you.